Hey everyone, today we're going to install Koni Race shocks on the front of the Time Attack Honda Civic. The car currently is undershocked and oversprung on the front. We're going to install these race valved Konis on the car and upgrade from 800 inch-pound springs to 1000 inch-pound springs to compensate for some air that we've added. So stay tuned, we'll get these on the car. Okay, so here's a good representation of the race shock versus the sport shock. This is the sport shock here that I had on the car for the last couple of years. As you can see, it's about an inch shorter stroke on the race valve race shock, and that'll help with suspension travel. My car only had about ½ inch of suspension travel before it contacted the bump stops. So going to take some bump stop tuning again to get this dialed in, but it gives you an idea. I already got obviously the ground control sleeve transferred over, and I've got the bottom ring transferred over as well. I'm just getting ready to reinstall it. Here's the springs that I'm going to be running. These are the 800 inch-pound iBox springs I ran last season, and here's the 1000 inch-pound hypercoil springs I'm going to run this year. Where is it here? Yeah, it says 1000 on there. We're going to run these. They are longer. They're about an inch longer than these iBox springs, so we'll see how that works. Going to need to make a few adjustments here, but should work out okay. So we'll go ahead and get these assembled and back into the car. Okay, so now that I have that all, that strut all put back together, I'll put it back into the car here. So I want to make sure when you're doing this that the keyway on this ring is lined up with the fork, because that lines up a little notch or indent in the strut for the bolt to go through to secure it together. Get my ratchet. Then we'll get a jack and we'll lift everything up into place. Actually, I might be able to lift it by hand. Let's see. Just gotta get it lined up right here. Lift her up into place. Put a nut on. There we go. Okay. That's it. We'll tighten everything up. And yeah, one side down, one to go. Alright guys, there we have it. Quick one for y'all tonight. I haven't done the other side yet, and I do also have the race valve shocks for the rear of the car that I am going to put on. The rear is basically just a straight swap. They're not short stroke. They're identical to the ones that are on the car now. I just have to re-enree them, so I'm not going to cover that. I wanted to show the difference in the front. The rears are valved with what Koni calls the PSS3 valving, which is the most extreme valving they can do on this style of strut. From there, you're up into like the $4,000 strut. So this is the budget upgrade that I can afford. Again, as I said, they're used. I got them off a friend of mine. Yeah, I don't have money to spend $4,000 on coilovers. These were $600 Canadian. Which is my budget, so that's great. The hypercoil springs cost me $100 from another fellow competitor that went down in spring, I believe. So those are in the front. That should stiffen up the front quite a bit, which will be good because I found with the splitter on the front of the car and that extra load, certain compressions were enough now to make it drag. And I want a little bit more roll resistance out of the car as well without adding a big sway bar. So see how that goes. I got much more adjustment on these shocks as well. The valving with this heavier valving on it. On my old ones, I had them cranked at full hard. I'm hoping with these ones I'll have some adjustment in there so I can change it from medium to hard or whatever the conditions require. But yeah, just a quick one for you. Just wanted to cover this kind of change to the car. So again, we installed Koni Race yellow shocks in place of the yellow sport shocks. The front ones are short stroke as well. They take an inch of stroke out of them to prevent them from riding on the bump stops all the time, which is great. And we threw them in this car with 1,000 inch-pound springs versus the 800s that I had before. The 800s is actually going to go in the back of the car and replace the 550s that I have back there, and we'll see how that goes. If that's weird mix match, I may move springs around again. But we won't know that until we get on the track and get some data out of it. So that's it for tonight, everybody. Thank you for hanging in there if you made it to the end. One of the very few that actually watched the end of these videos. If you did, please do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe button. Really appreciate it. Helps me out. Keeps me motivated. And we will see you guys next time. Have a great night, everybody. Bye-bye.